You can advocate on some things but not all things. Or even if you're having to advocate on all the stuff around the sun rising in the east, at least you've got these other things that you can really focus on. And this national business agenda is the best single way of overcoming many of the concerns that you've expressed this morning. What do I do about a member who demands that I just do what he wants? Does it fit, sir, with the national business agenda we have? If it doesn't, please describe why I should do anything about it. I can't describe to businesses what I do. Yeah, I've got a national business agenda. That helps me describe it. I don't know what success looks like in my advocacy efforts. Yeah, you can. Did anything change in the national business agenda? Okay? You need to write a document that can be read in quite a short time. Okay? If there's a lot of detail, put it in an appendix. But write the document so that the logical person who's reasonably educated, a CEO or a senior bureaucrat, can read it in probably no more than 20 minutes. So building these business agendas that are constructive about the nature of the issue and then propose a solution that's other than slogans requires effort. And that's the key thing that your advocacy and lobbying team inside your business organisation, or if there's only 2 or 3 of you and you're doing everything, you need to turn your mind to that. Do a preliminary assessment. You can do this through surveys, through looking at what other countries have done, through looking at what your members have said to you, running member meetings, having a conversation at your executive board, looking at what government's doing, World Bank reports, all that stuff. So have a look at all of those things that are free on the web, they're cool, and do a little preliminary assessment. Because a lot of this, if it's not obvious, it's not part of the agenda. You know, it should be pretty obvious. Any business person in your country should read this national business agenda and go, yep, that's about right. So don't stretch it. If it feels pretty technical, leave it out. There should be 8 or 10 things on your agenda that are pretty obvious. Okay, so you don't need to take ages and ages over it. Consult your key members, certainly your board, but probably some key big members. This is a way, by the way, of helping your members get sticky to you. Once again, another Phil O'Reilly insider from my years running a business organisation. The at-risk member is always the member who's not talking to you. I've almost never had a member resign from me who was regularly attending meetings or turning up or sending an email or something. Sometimes they resign, but almost never. The people who resign from you are the people you never hear from, because they don't feel as though they're getting value, right? So this is a good way of getting value. Consult the key members. Go to some of those people you haven't spoken to for a while and say, well, look, we're working on national business agenda. Here's some initial thoughts. We think it's going to be about these kinds of issues. What do you think? Do you want to turn up to a meeting and tell us all about it? Would you like to attend a function where we can talk about it? Would you like to fill out a survey and help us on this? Get the idea? This is a nice, useful excuse to go out and talk to your members. Then consult with your broader membership, including your small businesses. Draft the document up. There's tons and tons of examples of what they look like. Don't feel as though you need to start with a blank piece of paper. Many organisations in this room have them. So come and have a chat. The guys here at ACTEMP can give you a hand. Present a draft to the president and the board. Consult these other key businesses and organisations. You might have trade groups and sectoral groups inside your membership, for example. And then come out with a short, clear-cut, evidence-based document. I think we've got some examples on the slides. Get your board approval, present it to your members, communicate it, including to the press. But bear in mind, this is a process, not an event. There's a big difference between an event and a process. An event is something that happens. It's a cocktail party, or it's a, whatever. It's a thing. It's a conference. This is a process. Once you've got this thing, there's a process about the way in which you talk about it. You describe it endlessly. You put it in every press statement. You refer to it a lot. You put it in your annual report. When you talk to politicians, you've always got it in your hand and you hand it across to them. When you talk to a key bureaucrat, you just give it to them. When you're in a press conference, there's piles of it at the back of the room. It's that. Okay, this is this thing. That's why it can't be too long. It needs to be relatively short. I've seen them put on one page, one side A4, by the way. I've seen them put on one piece of paper. So they don't. It's the value of the message rather than the length. You know, never mind the quality. Feel the width is not what you want here. You want the quality, not the width. Okay. So then divulge it broadly. Right. This is a great excuse once you've done this work to have some meetings. And business organisations are in the business of having meetings, aren't you? You know, you meet with politicians and you go meet with your key members at CEO level and you say, here's the business agenda, we'd like to present this to you, sir or madam, and here is what we think. And you go talk to some media people and you always have a copy in your briefcase. So if you meet someone new, you hand it across to them. You have done this to me in meetings over the years, some of you. You have handed me your business agenda and said, look at that, Phil. Here's what we're talking about in our country. So this is a process that you've got. Once you've got it, love it, keep going. Review it every year or two to make sure it's still relevant and still sensible. And then do it again, do the process again. It's a great reason to have a meeting, a great reason to go forward.